Welcome to this evening's Family Support Center of New Jersey's webinar titled Healthy Transitions, part of the Transition Matters webinar series. Please feel free to type any questions that you may have during the presentation, as tonight's presenter will allow time for questions and answers at the end of the session. I would like to introduce this evening's presenter, Adiola Shenenke. Adiola is the Family Resource Network's National Get Fit Director. Adiola attended Rutgers University, where she attained her bachelor's degree in biology. She also holds a master's degree in public health and is a certified health education specialist. She works exclusively on the prevention of chronic conditions and is focused on promoting the health and wellness needs of people with disabilities by designing and evaluating programs and health education materials. She began her work with the Family Resource Network in 2011 and oversees all health and wellness programs within the agency. Adiola also spearheaded the national implementation of Get Fit. She is currently attending her PhD at Walden University, where she is researching obesity management and weight severity in children with special health care needs. Adiola is passionate about advocating for the provision of wellness services for people of all abilities. At this time, I would like to welcome Adiola Shenenke. Adiola, just give me 1 second. Okay, you should be unmuted.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. I think I've been muted again. Okay. Thank you, Melanie. Good evening, everyone. My name is Adiola Shenenke, and I look forward to talking to you about healthy transitions this evening. Healthy Transitions is brought to you by the Family Resource Network through our Get Fit program. Our goal today will be to talk about the importance of including health and wellness opportunities into a transition plan. We understand that creating a transition plan can sometimes be a journey in itself, but through Get Fit, you can integrate multiple dimensions of wellness into your transition plan. So here are some topics that we'll be going over today. I'll be talking to you about what Get Fit really is, why we started Get Fit, and answering certain questions, such as what does wellness mean for my child, how can I include wellness in my child's transition plan, and where can my child get fit? And as Melanie stated, we'll save some time at the end to answer some of your questions. So what is Get Fit? Is it a program, an initiative, or a movement? Well, we are all of these things. We exist as a program that provides direct services, an initiative that's developing innovative methods to serve people with disabilities, and as a movement advocating for the wellness needs of people with disabilities. We are dedicated to promoting healthy, fit, and active lives in children and adults with intellectual or developmental disabilities, chronic illness, and their caregivers. So how do we accomplish all of this? Well, we provide fitness and nutrition programs in a variety of settings. I've listed some of those locations below, and we'll go into a little bit of detail about some of these specific programs later on in today's presentation. So why did we start Get Fit? Well, as some of you may know, we're currently going through an obesity epidemic here in the United States. New Jersey is ranked 27 in childhood obesity. We've also noticed that children with disabilities have higher obesity rates than children without disabilities. Many of us may know that obese children do have a higher risk of becoming obese adults. And also it's important to note that adults with disabilities also have higher obesity rates than adults without disabilities. So you may be asking yourself, well, why is my child, or why may my child be at risk of obesity? There are many reasons why your child may be at an increased risk of obesity. This can be due to differences in body composition, lower rates of physical activity. Your child may be on certain medications that increase appetite. There may be certain standards that regard food and exercise that are over-permissive or over-restrictive. You may have a fear of seizures or asthma attacks if your child is physically active. There may be some confusion about how and when to set limits for a child with physical or mental disabilities. Generally, we've noticed that there is a lack of accessibility to services. This can be due to physical and attitudinal barriers, stigma and stereotypes, and a chronic lack of opportunity. And overall, we've noticed that the U.S. lifestyle promotes an increased consumption of calorie-dense foods and an increased reliance on labor-saving devices. And I wanted to share some facts with you today, as I think that this really helps when we're talking about childhood obesity and how we can incorporate wellness into our lifestyles. Overweight or obesity may lower self-esteem by interfering with independence. And did you know that children who walk with braces and crutches or walkers actually burn more calories than children without during actual periods of walking? And I didn't want to read through all of these, but I really think it's great for you to have some of this information available to you. So what is being done to help this obesity issue? Some of you may know that in the school setting, different campaigns are occurring nationally, such as Let's Move. They've incorporated the CATCH curriculum into physical education class, and they now have the Presidential Youth Fitness Program. And while all of these programs are great services, none of them really speak to the needs of children with disabilities. And this is why Get Fit is the solution. What we've done through Get Fit is create fitness and nutrition programs that meet the specific needs of children and adults with disabilities. We've trained exercise physiologists and nutritionists so that they can provide fitness and nutrition programs for children and adults with disabilities also. So this means that while there are many programs through Get Fit available, there are also many trainers who are available to provide those specific services for your child. So now let's talk about wellness. What does wellness mean for your child? When we talk about wellness, we like to think of the 8 dimensions of wellness: cultural wellness, vocational wellness, spiritual wellness, social wellness, physical wellness, intellectual wellness, environmental wellness, and emotional wellness. These 8 dimensions of wellness will impact the quality of life of your child. So it really is important that you consider them when creating your child's transition plan. Let's look at vocational wellness as an example. So what does vocational wellness mean? It means matching your core values with interests, hobbies, employment, and volunteer work. And what does this mean for your child? It may mean including goals such as job readiness, employment, higher education, independence, the ability to make informed choices, financial literacy, and these are the certain things that are really important when developing a transition plan. I really want you to take note of independence and the ability to make informed choices, because you'll see these as recurring topics within our presentation today. But when you develop a goal, it's always important to consider those different steps that are needed to take to achieve those goals. So as we go through the rest of this presentation today, I'd like you to start thinking about how you can incorporate these different dimensions of wellness into current and future activities for your child. So let's talk a little bit about your child's wellness today. When you think about wellness today, you're thinking about healthy eating, physical activity, and screen time. Healthy eating. Some of those goals may include encouraging healthy eating habits, enjoying stress-free meal times, planning and making meals together, attaining a healthy weight. Now with physical activity, some of those goals may be being physically active, encouraging the whole family to be active, staying safe when active. And when we look at screen time, some of those goals may be setting limits on TV, computer, and video time, observing family rules, and learning as you play. And today, we're going to really focus about how you can incorporate some of these goals as well as other goals into your child's transition plan. So I understand. Basically, you would like to see less of this, where your child is sitting around watching TV all day as they become an adult and eating unhealthy foods, and more of this, where they're really physically active and promoting opportunities for their own wellness. So let's talk about including wellness, where transition planning meets Get Fit. When we talk about transition planning, we really talk about the importance of person-centered planning. This means gathering information based on individual interests, preferences, and support needs. You want to begin this process in the school by collecting valuable information from educational personnel that will be helpful in connecting to adult service systems. Basically, this means you're going from school-based services to community-based services. Now for Get Fit, this means you're going from physical education class and perhaps to Get Fit at home, where a personal trainer or nutritionist will come to the home and work with your child to assist them with achieving some of their wellness goals one-on-one. Or it may mean that your child is going to go from physical education class to Get Fit at gym. Now this means maybe they're going to work out one-on-one at a local gym with a Get Fit trainer, or maybe participate in some of our group programs at local gyms. And for some, this may mean going from physical education class to Get Fit at home to Get Fit at gym. Everyone's Get Fit journey is different. Like we said, person-centered planning. So keep this in mind as you develop goals for your child. So when it comes to wellness, what are we trying to achieve today? Earlier we discussed what does wellness mean for your child, but we all know that your child is growing up. So now you want to ask yourself, what will wellness mean for your child tomorrow? It may mean healthy eating, physical activity, screen time, like we discussed earlier, and then some additional things such as independence, functional achievement, community participation, and life skills. So let's start with independent living. What are some goals that you may want to include in your child's transition planning to promote independent living? Perhaps adopting good personal health habits, being an informed consumer, managing stress, eating well, avoiding destructive habits, seeking and complying with medical advice, taking ownership of goals and well-being, the ability to use public or private transportation to access the community activity, the ability to independently perform the leisure and or recreational activity. Now let's look at functional achievement. What may be some goals that you include under functional achievement for your child? We all know that healthy students are better students. So you may think about optimal well-being, enjoying leisure time, being physically fit, and that includes agility, balance, coordination, power, reaction time, and speed. Perhaps it includes metabolic fitness or maintaining bone integrity. Let's now look at community participation. Some goals that may be included under community participation could be being socially involved, learning gym etiquette, living an active lifestyle in your community, communicating effectively, accurately evaluating media messages, having knowledge of the location of certain activities, having appropriate social interaction and positive attitudes in a community setting, having a level of comfort and motivation when it comes to accessing desired community activities, and having a general knowledge that their personalized fitness plan is connected to improving health and wellness. And lastly, let's look at life skills. So what are some goals that may be involved when it comes to life skills for Get Fit or being healthy in general? Being a wise consumer. This means comparing different products and services for value and quality. Practicing wellness. This means practicing good health habits, such as getting plenty of exercise and eating good foods. Maintaining a positive outlook and accurate self-perceptions. Assessing your health. This means evaluating your health and assessing your health behaviors accurately. Making good decisions. This means making choices that are healthy and responsible. Using refusal skills, so saying no to things that you don't want to do, as well as avoiding dangerous situations. Coping. This means dealing with problems and emotions in an effective way. And setting goals. This means aiming for something that will give you a sense of accomplishment and achievement. This could be breaking bad habits or planning your future. All of these are important life skills that your children can develop through Get Fit or including healthy wellness goals in their transition plan. So let's talk a little bit more about setting goals. When you're setting goals, you want them to be action-oriented, measurable, you want them to have a built-in reward system, and you want them to be individualized. So taking into account your child's interest, preference, and support needs. So once again, person-centered planning. Transition plans must include appropriate, measurable post-secondary goals that are based upon an age-appropriate transition assessment that's related to training, education, employment, independent living skills, and recreation for an active, healthy lifestyle. Basically, by the end of your child's high school career, they should be leaving with a personalized transition plan that's pretty much similar to what students in general physical education courses leave with. They leave with a personalized fitness plan. Your child's education services must assist your child with reaching their goals. So make sure they're aware of what those goals are. When developing a goal for your child, speak with them and ask 3 activities that they really enjoy at school. Maybe you can use these activities to incorporate them in their transition plan. Perhaps it's volleyball or another sport or activity. Perhaps it's yoga. These are different things that you can use to incorporate into their transition plan to ensure that they remain active throughout adulthood. So I'd like to show you an example of how we set goals here with Get Fit. Goals should be focused on the post-secondary world. So you want to think of goals that will assist them with being independent in their community. Begin by developing goals that can be achieved at home or school. Then you can start to include goals in community-based settings, such as visiting a local park once a week, then perhaps increasing the frequency each week, or selecting a healthier meal at the school cafeteria and then at a favorite restaurant. You want your child to begin to understand that they can make healthy choices no matter where they are. So let's look at some examples of goal setting. Let's say you want your child to make better decisions about food. So their Get Fit goal may be, I will try one new fruit or vegetable each week for 6 weeks. Or let's say you want your child to be more active. Then maybe the Get Fit goal will be, I will walk for 30 minutes on the treadmill at home 3 times a week for 6 weeks. That could then lead into, I will walk around my neighborhood for 30 minutes every day after dinner for 6 weeks. And this could eventually lead to them walking on a treadmill at the gym. So that provides you with step-by-step goals that can assist you with achieving an overall goal of community integration. Some additional goals that you may want to include could be your child independently following his or her dietary restrictions, your child being able to develop their own meal planning list, grocery shopping, and cooking skills on their own, or even selecting healthier options in a public restaurant. So let's talk more about shopping and cooking skills as our example for incorporating wellness into a transition plan. Let's say today your child is unable to shop for food at a grocery store or prepare a meal by themselves. Your goal is for them to learn how to grocery shop for foods and to prepare a healthy meal. The objective to assist you with achieving this goal will be that your child will learn how to plan a menu, then learn how to write a grocery list that allows them to create that menu, then shop for those foods that are on their list at their local grocery store, and then follow those steps on the menu to prepare the meal independently. This is something that an occupational therapist can assist you with. So speak to the occupational therapist so that they are aware of some of the goals that you have for your child, and stress that you would like your child to learn healthy cooking meals, not necessarily meals that are cooked quickly and are lacking nutrition. You can also speak to the home economics teacher at your school to assist with this. You want to constantly do assessments when you're incorporating new goals. So ask yourself, how is my child doing with their Get Fit goal? Are all parties involved in helping my child achieve this goal? What modifications need to be made to my child's Get Fit goal? And is this goal helping to prepare my child for their transition? Be sure to include the school staff in this assessment process also. For example, the school nurse can be asked to measure your child's weight and height once a month. I know that you all are familiar with IEPs. So let's look at some accommodations that can be made to IEPs. You can make some nutrition-related changes, and you can make some changes when it comes to the amount of calories consumed on a daily basis. It's really beneficial if you can include your doctors in some of these conversations. Get some advice from them so that they can really provide you with some input about the health and wellness of your child and what things are going to look like going forward. Let's look at an example of how an IEP can be used to assist with the development of the transition plan. If you look at the previous slide, you can see that we talked a little bit about food restrictions being listed in an IEP. So let's say for your child that they require a gluten-free or casein-free diet, and you feel that following a restrictive diet is an independent living skill that your child must learn and master. So their present level of performance today is that they cannot identify which foods are unsafe for them to eat. You can then set an annual goal that your child will identify safe versus unsafe foods so that he or she can independently follow his or her dietary restrictions. So do you see how that became a transition plan goal? That's promoting independent living at the end of the day. While we're talking about health and wellness and get fit, it really is important that you recognize that it's not always a good idea for food to be a reward. Food is something that is essential, so it really should not be considered a reward. Try using healthy rewards that can be built into your child's behavioral plan. We have found through Get Fit that sometimes exercise itself can be a reward. Whichever reward you choose for your child, be sure that there's a continuum from home to school to community. That means whatever you're practicing at home or at school should be practiced in the community also. It's really great to include your behavioral therapist and occupational therapist in this conversation, as sometimes they can really help you with transitioning to a non-food reward system within about 2 weeks. Here are some examples of healthy rewards. Sometimes you can plant vegetables or even water vegetables that are already planted. Perhaps sitting on a balance board instead of a chair, doing a fun physical activity break such as dancing to your favorite song and blowing bubbles just to promote happiness and joy. You can use stickers. You can make family day trips to the local park. Or everyone's favorite, which is game time. Everyone loves to be rewarded with a fun game, especially if it's something that they enjoy. An example of a healthy fun game is the Wii Fit, which allows your child to continue playing their video games but practicing healthy behaviors at the same time. So now let me tell you a little bit about where your child can get fit. It's pretty easy to add plans and to add Get Fit programs to your plan because we're very flexible and we do whatever we can to ensure that your children have access to the services that they need. Get Fit provides individually designed daily exercises and physical activities, nutrition education, mind, body, and spirit-centered programs, lifelong learning, and community-based programming. As I mentioned in the beginning, Get Fit services are offered in a variety of settings, so it's really up to you and where you live for us to figure out which service is best for you. We provide Get Fit where you are. Our Get Fit team will do their best to set up a program in any setting. Our Get Fit team is statewide, and we're constantly implementing new programs based on the requests that we get from families. So as you're putting a Get Fit team together for your child, be sure that your Get Fit team includes your child, you, the family caregiver, members from the IEP team, and a Get Fit trainer and a Get Fit nutritionist. Through this, you will truly be able to develop a transition plan that is healthy and promotes overall wellness. One topic I know that you've heard a lot about as you discuss transition for your child is eligibility. Well, Get Fit is a DDD qualified provider service. So if your child does end up being eligible for DDD, they can receive Get Fit services through their budget. But we don't like to say no to anyone, so we also accept private pay options. Families do pay for Get Fit privately. Sometimes we can find ways for external agencies to pay for Get Fit services. And some of our programs are grant supported, which definitely reduces the cost for families. One option that many families are doing now is they're selecting Get Fit as a service for their child to receive in the home before they reach the age of 21. That way, once they reach the age of 21, they're able to participate in some of our Get Fit group programs and gym-based programs comfortably, knowing that they've worked with this trainer in the past. So I'd like to thank you for listening to our Get Fit presentation today as we talked about healthy transitions. If you have any additional questions or you would like to access some of our services, you can visit us at www.getfitnj.org. You may also call us at 609-392-4900, and we'll be sure to connect you to some great services. And if you'd like, you're also welcome to email your questions to me at ashanike@familyresourcenetwork.org. Thank you.
Adiola, thank you so much. I greatly appreciate all your advice. We do have a couple of questions. One family member would like to know how young could a child start the Get Fit program? And is this something that you're comfortable doing through the school system?
Definitely. Get Fit programs are open to any age group, so we take children that are as young as 5 are currently in some of our Get Fit Kids programs, and we are open to working with school systems also. It's just a matter of us setting up a meeting and having that discussion with the school to see what they have available and what type of services we can provide for them.
The next question has to do with food sensitivity. A child who has some tactile issues surrounding healthier choices, would you happen to have any suggestions or methods that you've practiced?
Definitely. We actually did a webinar last year that discussed food sensitivity and different ways that you can promote healthier eating while working with some of these sensitivities. We had an occupational therapist who specializes in feeding on our webinar, and that webinar can be accessed at www.getfitnj.org. And you're also welcome to email me, and I can connect you with the occupational therapist that provided us with some of those tips.
And lastly, can you talk a little bit about the difference between a Get Fit session with an individual compared to having a session as a small group or as a family group?
Okay. Well, an individualized Get Fit program is one-on-one. So we have one trainer working with that individual in a personal training manner. When we have group session programs, what we do is we create group activities that the entire group participates in. And sometimes we have a 1-to-1 ratio for these programs, and sometimes we have a 3-to-1 ratio for these programs. And a family-based program can actually occur at the home, where the trainer can come to the home and work with the entire family in promoting activities for wellness, such as taking trips to the park and doing exercises at the park, and finding ways where we can change the culture within the home to promote wellness as a whole for everyone.
Adiola, I would like to thank you again for all the information that you were able to share with the attendees this evening. Again, Adiola's contact is currently on the screen. Please feel free to reach out to her, or you can also access her through the website. We do have some great sessions scheduled for April, May, and June. Scheduled for April 10th, we have another webinar, Social Security Work Incentives, a Blueprint for Success. That's part 2. Part 1 is currently archived on the fscnj.org website. You can also go onto the Transition Matters and find that information. Also offered on May 6th, a webinar titled Support Coordination, What Every Family Needs to Consider. And on June 10th, Supportive Housing, How to Best Understand and Plan for One's Housing Future. If you're unable to join us for any of the live sessions as you did this evening, please feel free again to look on the fscnj.org, that stands for Family Support Center, New Jersey, website where the archive sessions. And also please feel free to explore the Transition Matters websites for additional resources and details. Again, on behalf of the Family Resource Network, the Family Support Center of New Jersey, Get Fit New Jersey, and Transition Matters, we would like to thank you for joining us this evening. Please have a good night. Thank you again, Adiola.